Hey there guys, this is Richard, your host, with another marvelous video. 12 most powerful and dangerous Flash villains. When you say DC or the Justice League, three figures are bound to pop up in your head: Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. However, several hardcore fans of DC have a favorite superhero that does not belong to this Holy Trinity, and that hero is the Flash. Noted for his superhuman speed and ability to travel in time with the help of the Speed Force, Flash has had to fight several ridiculously strong opponents, and they often have a very interesting backstory. Several of his enemies are speedsters, the most notable one being Reverse Flash. However, other villains who do not possess the power of speed have also been able to give the Flash a run for his money.
As you are.
With different generations of the Flash, be it Jay Garrick, Barry Allen, or Wally West, or different storylines in the Golden Age, Silver Age, Modern Age, New 52, or the Arrowverse, storylines and characteristics have deviated a bit, especially with the existence of Flashpoint. So it is time to get down to our top 12 picks for some powerful and dangerous villains who have opposed the fastest man alive. Before diving into the content, we'd like to make a very small request to our viewers. Please subscribe to Marvelous Videos, like and comment on our videos, and press the bell icon to be notified whenever we upload a video. We would be grateful to you, and we hope to bring you the best nerdy content. And with that, we're now going to get right into this video. Zoom. Professor Zoom, better known as the Reverse Flash, is the nemesis of Barry Allen. Originally called Eobard Thawne, he is one of DC's primary antagonists, appearing prominently in several arcs such as The Flash, Rebirth, The Return of Barry Allen, and Flashpoint. The red and yellow in his speedster suit has been reversed, contrasting with that of Barry Allen's. Eobard Thawne is from the future, namely the 25th century. Growing up, he lacked social skills but was highly intelligent. However, the Flash Museum had rejected his application to study the Speed Force, causing him to partake in it illegally. He recreated the accident that helped Flash gain his powers as a speedster in the 21st century, and went on to become Reverse Flash, his villainous counterpart. Unlike the Flash, he had access to the negative Speed Force due to his antagonistic nature, and could travel faster than light and alter time by breaking the time barrier. He used this ability to fight the Flash several times, and also came into conflict with other superheroes such as Batman or the Justice League as a whole. He was also part of the secret society of supervillains.
I knew using these morons would put you off your guard.
As a genetically engineered human being, Eobard Thawne had superior intellect from the get-go. Even though his abilities are similar to that of any other speedster, allowing him to travel at super fast speed and phase through objects, the negative Speed Force allows Zoom to travel faster than light. He can also run on water, land 100 strong hits per second, and create vacuums. He can move abnormally fast, going back and forth between two places, thus generating a speed mirage, which makes it look like he is at two places at once. He can manipulate magnetism with the lightning present in his movement. He can also alter history by time traveling, access other dimensions, and generate shockwaves that can cross over space and time. In the New 52 reboot, he was able to slow down time.
Foolish human, I am GRODD.
Gorilla Grodd. Alongside Eobard Thawne, Gorilla Grodd is another primary antagonist appearing in the DC universe and a nemesis of Barry Allen. He also happens to be the rival of Solovar, the king of Gorilla City. Gorilla Grodd is a super intelligent being with telepathic abilities. He was the main antagonist during the Silver Age of comic books and the main villain in JLA, Ape and the Angel. Gorilla Grodd has one desire: to conquer the world. Gorilla Grodd is a ruthless creature, much like a malevolent king who sees his subjects or other people as pawns to get ahead in life. He's a megalomaniac who is obsessed with seeking power and victory. He's also quite flamboyant, willing to display his strength whenever he gets a chance to do so. With megalomania comes a desire to rule the world, which happens to be the biggest motivation for Gorilla Grodd to move forward. He wants an empire that spans all over the world, where all the humans are enslaved to his will, primarily because he considered humans to be an inferior species. However, that doesn't mean that he stands up for the apes, because he is willing to kill his fellow apes in the blink of an eye if they come in his way. He hates being called a monkey, and he hates bananas.
GRODD hate banana.
His ruthlessness does not end there. After killing his enemies, he feasts on their brains, be it humans or apes. As you'd expect from a being as cruel and violent as GRODD, he has no qualms in killing his family members either. He killed his father in the New 52 and ate his brains. He served in the Legion of Doom as their second-in-command. He has also appeared in Justice League, Batman, The Brave and the Bold, CW's Arrowverse, and Challenge of the Super Friends. He has unreal strength and durability, higher than that of any gorilla. He also has telekinetic and telepathic abilities, such as mind control, enhanced senses, genius intellect that allows him to create advanced devices, an ability to transfer his consciousness, create psionic blasts, and transform matter. SAVITAR. Just like Barry Allen and Eobard Thawne, SAVITAR is a speedster. He appears in DC's Flash comics as a villain. He runs a cult with followers who worship the Speed Force and professes himself to be a god of speed. He's extremely powerful and drains other speedsters who oppose him with their powers. Apart from Barry Allen, the other speedsters he has fought are Jay Garrick and Wally West. Before becoming SAVITAR, he was a pilot for a third world nation. His real name remains unknown. During his time in the Cold War, his plane was struck by what he considered to be lightning while testing a supersonic fighter jet at an extreme high speed. He crashed into the enemy's territory where he realized that he had super speed, which he used against his enemies. Following this feat, he went on to study more about the Speed Force and named himself SAVITAR after the Hindu god of motion. His studies allowed him to be able to use a null inertia force field for self-defense and protection. As a self-proclaimed god, he amasses followers who help him accomplish his goals of stripping other speedsters off of their link to the Speed Force. He transferred that power to his followers, called Thunderbolt agents. However, if a speedster has a direct link to the Speed Force, SAVITAR cannot take away their power, which is what happened with Wally West. He wished to destroy the Flash, but in the end ended up being trapped in the dimension following his union with the Speed Force. He was later disintegrated after being touched by a Barry Allen infected with the negative Speed Force. It took him years to escape that situation and connect to the Speed Force once again, but this time he was more powerful with the knowledge he had gained from being in the Void. Killer Frost. Killer Frost falls in a grey category as she can be categorized both as a protagonist and an antagonist depending on the occasion. Originally known as Dr. Caitlin Snow, she works in Star Labs in the Arrowverse and aids the Flash. However, her other persona as a meta-human, Killer Frost, is antagonistic in Season 3 and more of an anti-hero in Season 4. She's portrayed by actress Danielle Panabaker. Caitlin Snow and Killer Frost have different personalities. Caitlin is a talented scientist, plagued by the sadness of losing Ronnie Raymond, which resulted in her becoming cold and detached. Working with Barry and Cisco allowed her to find the warmth of love again, with friendship. She was reunited with Ronnie, who turned out to be alive and just fused with Martin Stein as Firestorm. However, losing him again took her back to the depressed state, but this time she was able to move on. She grew affectionate towards Hunter Zolomon, disguised as Jay Garrick in Season 2, but was disappointed again when he turned out to be Zoom and took her captive. Post-Flashpoint, Caitlin Snow developed cryogenic powers as the vindictive meta-human Killer Frost. However, turning into Killer Frost changed her personality into a cold and sadistic person, similar to her Earth 2 version. Killer Frost considered Caitlin to be weak and pitiful, while Caitlin wanted to keep Killer Frost subdued inside her. Killer Frost also wanted to prove her loyalty to the evil speedster SAVITAR. From Season 4, Caitlin gradually starts to be able to control Killer Frost instead of being controlled by her. Naturally, her villainous side is now kinder but still disapproves of several things Caitlin likes, such as her fashion sense and fondness for the color pink. However, Killer Frost collaborates with the heroes of the show to take down the villains.
Sorry, pal.
Captain Cold. Captain Cold, originally known as Leonard Snart, is an antagonist appearing alongside Professor Zoom and Gorilla Grodd to be of great nuisance to our beloved speedster. He leads a group called the Rogues. His sister Lisa Snart is a meta-human who goes by the name Golden Glider. Snark's origin is quite dark. His father was abusive and he lost his grandfather. He went on to become a criminal where he would commit petty crimes with other thugs, but went solo after the results didn't satisfy him. Once he attempted to rob a cyclotron, but the act got botched and the radiation from the cyclotron altered the mechanisms of Snot's gun. Since that day, he could fire cold beams from his gun and occasionally use it to cast illusions. It is impressive how Captain Cold was able to become a prominent enemy to the Flash, despite not being a speedster or a metahuman in general, unlike his other nemesis. He became the leader of Rogues Gallery, but gave up on his life as a criminal in the New 52, following the defeat of the crime syndicate. He went on to join the Justice League with Lex Luthor.
As you are.
However, his arc had a 360-degree moment when he went back to being the criminal leader of the Rogues in DC Rebirth. He's appeared in Justice League Unlimited, Batman, The Brave and the Bold, Young Justice, The Harley Quinn TV series, Superman, Batman, Public Enemies, and CW's Arrowverse. He either indulges in thievery or attempts to kill the Flash. Captain Cold does not possess any meta powers at first and uses his cold gun to freeze objects to its core, allowing him to repel attacks directed at him. He can also turn the moisture from the air into ice with his gun. However, in New 52, he underwent several experiments that allowed him to use the freezing abilities by himself. He was able to create a special freezing field to fight the Flash, which turned the speedster's speed into that of a regular human. However, these powers didn't last as Deathstorm removed Captain Cold's cryogenic powers. Unfortunately, he went back to using his cold guns. Reverse Flash. In the Arrowverse, Reverse Flash and Zoom are separate antagonists, with Reverse Flash making his appearance in the very first season as he was responsible for killing Barry Allen's mother. He goes by the name Dr. Harrison Wells after stealing the identity of the scientist who built the particle accelerator that created the Flash, along with several other metahumans. When he portrays Harrison Wells, he is played by Tom Cavanagh, whereas Matt Ledger plays the role of Eobard Thawne, which is Reverse Flash in his original form. He is from the 22nd century and grew up fanboying over the Flash, wanting to be just like him. Similar to Professor Zoom from the DC comics, Eobard Thawne recreated the event that created the Flash. After becoming a speedster, he went back in time to meet the Flash, but realizes that his destiny was to be his rival. As a result, he went on to become everything the Flash stood against, and assumed the role of Reverse Flash. He went to Barry Allen's timeline to kill him when he was a child, but his attempts were foiled by Barry Allen as the Flash from the future. So he killed his mother, Nora Allen, instead and framed his father, Henry Allen, for the murder, resulting in his incarceration and a lifelong trauma for Barry. However, he ended up losing his connection to the Speed Force and remained stuck in the 21st century. He kills Dr. Harrison Wells and creates the particle accelerator to create the Flash, hoping to use Barry's connection to the Speed Force to go back in time. However, in the end, he is outed and his ancestor Eddie, Iris's boyfriend, kills himself to prevent Thawne from ever being born. Following the creation of the Flashpoint after Barry goes back in time to save Nora Allen, Thawne is pulled from the timeline and becomes a time remnant. Like most other speedsters, he has superhuman speed, can phase through objects, generate vacuums, and engage in time travel. He's connected to the negative Speed Force, similar to his comic counterpart. Reverse Flash also has electrokinetic powers and a genius intellect. Captain Boomerang. George Digger Harkness, or Captain Boomerang, hails from an underprivileged and impoverished family. He's the illegitimate child of an American soldier with an Australian woman and was raised in Coram Borough. As a poor kid, he developed boomerangs and weaponized them. He performed at a toy company and promoted his boomerangs. During this time, he began to refer to himself as Captain Boomerang. After he was ridiculed by the audience, he turned into a criminal, using his devices to commit crime. Once, he almost succeeded in killing the Flash by knocking him out with a boomerang, tying him to a big boomerang that went into space and fell into the ocean. However, Barry managed to save himself and capture Captain Boomerang. He went on to develop advanced boomerangs that could perform marvelous feats such as explosions and sharp killings. He joined the Rogues under Captain Cold. He was also affiliated to the other nemesis of the Flash, Gorilla Grodd. He later joined Suicide Squad, but was unable to blend in with his teammates due to his vicious and undependable nature.
Let's make sure this one don't get up again.
Digger Harkness isn't the only one to bear the title of Captain Boomerang. Harkness had abandoned his son, Owen Mercer, who was raised in a foster home. He later reached out to Owen after finding himself to be obsolete as a human villain in a world of metahumans and supervillains. He reconnected with his son, who became the second Captain Boomerang following the death of Harkness. His mother was Lisa Snott, also known as the Golden Glider. Owen joined the Rogues. Owen learned about him being a half-brother to Bart Allen, the current Kid Flash. He had a brief stint with the Outsiders, a superhero team, but ultimately went back to reuniting with the criminals. In the end, he was killed by his fellow Rogue members for breaking their rules. As we've already established, Captain Boomerang is a regular human with no powers, but that is not to say that he lacks abilities. He was a genius when it came to inventing advanced versions of boomerang devices. He would also create ones with sharp edges that could inflict great damage on enemies. Owen Mercer had limited super speed as his half-brother, Bart Allen, was a speedster. Mirror Master. 3 criminals have been the Mirror Master so far: Sam Scudder, Digger Harkness, and Evan McCulloch. Sam Scudder had always been a criminal, a very intelligent one at that. The magnitude of his crimes increased once he powered up with his mirrors. He initially worked in a prison workshop as he served time for a burglary and homicide. In the workshop, he created a mirror that was capable of holding an image for a while. He escaped prison and created several gadgets as such to help him get away with committing crime. He became a notorious criminal as the Mirror Master in Barry Allen's Central City and joined the Rogues. His plans were foiled by the Flash. He died during the episodes of Crisis on Infinite Earths. As part of the Rogues, Sam Scudder met Digger Harkness, also known as Captain Boomerang. As part of the Suicide Squad, Harkness used Scudder's inventions and committed crimes as the Mirror Master. After he was caught, he let go of this alias. The ruthless Amanda Waller tricked Harkness into a fake scenario where he constantly switched between his alias as Captain Boomerang and Mirror Master.
No honor among thieves, eh?
The Scottish criminal and mercenary Evan McCulloch is currently the Mirror Master. He was handed the costume and equipment of Scudder by the US government, who needed McCulloch for an objective. At first, he went after the superhero Animal Man, but later became an antagonist to Wally West. The Mirror Master's equipment allows them to control the mirror world and mirrors. He can create portals out of reflective surfaces, ice included. Anything can pass through it, and he sends his enemies through these portals to trap them in the mirror world as reflections. Mirror Master has the ability to generate mirrors that can execute various effects. The mirrors can be of various sizes as well. His mirrors project illusions or holograms, and these holograms can communicate. If people pass through them, he can create mental turmoil or hypnosis in those people. As a skilled thief, the Mirror Master is able to use his device for several purposes, including interdimensional travel. HEATWAVE. Pyromaniac Mick Rory is an enemy of the Flash and, similar to many other picks in this list, a member of the Rogues. Born outside Central City, Rory always had a penchant for fire. However, it turned out to be much more than a mere fascination as he set his house on fire. As the flames destroyed his home and family, he found himself fixated on the flames instead of getting help. Wherever he went, he set stuff on fire. Be it a boy who bullied him in school or the circus where he worked as a fire eater. Having come across the Rogues, he decided to use his pyromania for crime. His costume was made with a gun-sized flamethrower. He went on to rival Captain Cold due to their contrasting powers. He also ended up in jail quite a lot. After being manipulated by Roscoe Dillon, or the Top, he became a firefighter to help people and befriend Barry Allen, who he had fought previously. However, he ended up sacrificing himself unwillingly to unleash a demon called Neron, due to an offer set by the futuristic magician Abracadabra. He was revived, though. Neron had returned his soulless body to Earth with incredible powers, but Flash stopped Neron by returning the souls of Heatwave and 4 other soulless rogues to their bodies. He kept going to and fro between the good side and the bad. He later found himself in rifts and alliances with other speedsters such as Barry Allen and Inertia, respectively. He joined Libra's secret society of supervillains but rejected Libra's offer. He also killed Kid Zoom with his fellow members of the Rogues and beat up Human Flame. Heatwave is no metahuman, so he relies on arms for his powers, specifically firearms. He's also good with basic hand-to-hand combat, but not at the level of metahumans. The suit he donned was made of asbestos to prevent himself from falling victim to his own fire. Similar to Captain Cold, Heatwave uses a gun, but it shoots out flames instead of cold beams. His heat gun can also increase the temperature of the area surrounding him, create firestorms, and incinerate his targets.
Knock, knock.
Weather Wizard. Weather Wizard is a metahuman villain who opposes the Flash. Originally called Mark Martin, he got his powers after being affected by dark matter following the eruption of the particle accelerator at the Star Labs. The Flash had captured him after he caused havoc in Central City with his powers that messed with weather. Captain Cold and Golden Glider had freed him alongside several other metahumans captured in the pipeline. He wound up in Iron Heights prison after escaping, thanks to the Flash and some collaboration from Captain Cold himself. Following the Flashpoint where Barry had changed the timeline, Mark was freed by Hartley Rathaway and he tried to kill the Flash and Joe West. But as the timeline had changed, so did Hartley, who made amends with Team Flash. Growing up, Mark was responsible for taking care of his brother Clyde since the latter was 10 years old. They went on to become bank robbers, which also created severe parental issues for him when he became a father. During a particular bank robbery, the Central City Police Department pursued Marden, who piloted a getaway plane to escape. Clyde joined his brother, but soon the particle accelerator exploded and the dark matter fused with the ongoing storm affected them on air, giving them powers to tamper with the weather. Mark's whereabouts remained unknown for an entire year, and he was presumed to be dead. Mark was now able to perform several superhuman feats, and his abilities with atmokinesis, also known as weather manipulation, was far more precise compared to that of Clyde. He could miniaturize weather, such as creating tornadoes in his palms, or use his abilities over a larger radius. He can also make powerful air currents and use windstorms as hand weapons. Manipulating wind also allows him to take flight. He can create ice by freezing air molecules, summon lightning, create tsunamis, and alter the temperature around him. Even without his powers, Mark was formidable with his tactical mind and high intellect. He was also able to torture his enemies during an interrogation to get information out of them and was an expert at flying planes.
I am Alchemy.
I have visions.
Dr. Alchemy. Albert Desmond took on the alias of Dr. Alchemy. He's a supervillain appearing in the DC Comics as a nemesis of the Flash. He was a part of the Rogues as well. Desmond was a chemist who suffered from dissociative identity disorder. One personality was a person with drive to reach his potential, while the other had inclinations to be a criminal. When his criminal side took over, he used his knowledge of chemistry to become Mr. Element, a supervillain. He did it before Walter White. He creates several weapons and element-based devices such as bulletproof silicon to protect his cars. He also discovered a new element, which was a magnetic light, and named it Elemento. He sent the Flash to space with it, but in the end was captured by the Speedster. In jail, he learned about the existence of the Philosopher's Stone, a stone which can transmute elements. He gets his hands on the stone and reinvents himself as Dr. Alchemy before rejuvenating his career as a criminal. The effects of the stone lasted for 20 minutes. However, things became complicated with the resurfacing of his good side. Desmond quit crime but was replaced by his astral twin with whom he shared a psychic link, Alvin Desmond, created by the stone based on Desmond's criminal personality. Albert defeated Alvin, but in the end became Dr. Alchemy again. Later, Curtis Engstrom and Alexander Petrov used the Philosopher's Stone. As Engstrom called himself the Alchemist, Petrov went by Desmond's initial criminal identity, Mr. Element. He's appeared in Justice League Unlimited. A villainous character called Dr. Alchemy appears in the Arrowverse as the puppet of the main villain from Season 3, SAVITAR. The greatest source of Dr. Alchemy's powers, the Philosopher's Stone, was originally possessed by Merlin. He would press the stone in various points and use it to transmute substances into other substances. Steel could become silicon, oxygen could become carbon dioxide, and so on. It can also alter the molecular structure of living beings, as seen from the time Dr. Alchemy turned the Flash into water vapor. Albert Desmond uses telekinesis occasionally to control the stone from a distance. The Thinker. Clifford DeVoe, or the Thinker, is the nemesis of Jay Garrick's The Flash and possesses superhuman intelligence. This alias was later used by 3 other villains, Clifford Carmichael, Desmond Connor, and Artificial Intelligence. DeVoe was an intelligent kid from a very young age and became a DA. However, his failure in his first major case resulted in him abusing alcohol. On meeting Norvok, he struck a deal where DeVoe received a house and a stipend for offering his services as a thinker, the man who prepares alibis and legal precedents. He became enemies with the Flash after the latter imprisoned him. He used a scientific device called the thinking cap to project his mental force over the years. He joined Injustice Society, but was defeated by the Flash from 2 eras following his feat of abducting Keystone City. He went on to remain young due to being suspended in time during the abduction. Mr. Terrific used DeVoe's thinking cap to create an AI that follows DeVoe's brain pattern. Clifford Carmichael was experimented on by scientists using the thinking cap. It was used for improving the design on the cap, and a microchip version of it was implanted into Clifford's brain, turning him into a cyberpunk maniac. He joined the Suicide Squad as the new Thinker and opposed Jason Roush's Firestorm. After Caitlin Snow discovered the consciousness of her late lover Raymond existing in Roush, Clifford used it to battle Firestorm and force the dissolution of Raymond's persona. In the end, Roush left Clifford in a comatose state after dissolving his brain enhancements. Desmond Connor's The Thinker was a nemesis of Batman instead of the Flash. The AI Thinker was designed based on the technology of DeVoe's thinking cap and brainwaves. It developed a consciousness and adopted a hologram form. Later, it joined the Injustice Society as it had the consciousness of a villain and fed them information about the JSA. He battled Wally West in Keystone City. He wished to control the brains of those living in the city to increase his power, but these plans were thwarted by the Flash. He retreated to cyberspace after being defeated by Cyborg. And with that, today's video comes to an end. What do you think about these villains and who are your favorites? Did you enjoy the video? If yes, don't forget to like and comment on the video. Till then, goodbye and have a nice day.